Coming into this season, Ituano's highest ever finish was 6th place in Série B. We're not going to do that this year. However, on the backs of the performances from yesterday's episode, we have guaranteed ourselves a mid-table finish and another year in the competition. With one match left, we can finish as high as 9th. We currently sit 10th. I do not think we can fall into 11th, but anything is possible at this point. We did do a ton of rotation just to kind of see what we had in the last couple of matches. We'll get to those results after we take on Caxias do Sol and finish off our regular season. And we are pretty much going with the same lineup that we had before. A couple of changes, though. Celio Pereira Silva, because he will no longer be with the club, he is going to be on the bench for this one. Edson José is going to come in. Canella is back from an injury. He's got about 75 minutes in his legs, so we'll see if he can see that out. And we're going to start Caio Henrique on the right wing because he just seems to be doing decently well. I mean, no assists, no goals, but Mateus Conceição has kind of dropped off of a cliff. If I'm going to be perfectly frank, I think Henrique may potentially be the future at that position. We will see today. I must say we've enjoyed a fantastic first season in Série B. Would I have loved to have been in the promotion picture like América de Natal is? They could still lose out, though. There was only one promotion spot left. They are currently sitting in it at the start of the match today. We'll keep an eye on the schedule and the fixtures going on around and see what they can do. They're taking on América Mineira. If América de Natal wins, they will gain promotion into Série A. So even though they came up with us and they're seeing a little bit more success than we are, we can't begrudge anything. They were able to make transfers. We were not. Gabriel Rosera, though, has to do better. What our striker is doing defending so deep and so wide, I don't know, but it is what it is. JP, can he put us ahead? Unfortunately, his cross is headed away, and Mateus Souza will carry it up to start the counterattack. Not getting a lot of support, so we'll slow things down a little bit. What is going on with our defense? Abdias, get in front of him. Souza still with it, drops it back. Felipe Januario puts it through. Andre gets a piece of it as he tries to make himself as large as humanly possible along the pitch, and he does knock it out for a corner kick. I want to make sure we are in dynamic highlight mode. We don't want to be in dynamic highlight mode. We want to get through the end of the season and kind of see where we are as we get things set for season number 5 of the Save and season number 2 in Série B. We originally, in the season preview, were predicted to come in 17th place, which is in one of the relegation spots. I wanted to show you the season preview again just as a refresher, but unfortunately the season preview changes during the season. Somehow we're still only in 15th place, even though we started the match week in 10th. Not quite sure how that works, but Football Manager is going to Football Manager whenever it can. So we were expected to be relegated right back to Série C. We exceeded those expectations, and I could not be happier about that. I would just like to see us win one last match and really be a top half team. JP in control outside of the box, plays the Carlau. Victor Reis. Carlau may not be here next year. He's getting a little bit older. I think he's 29 or at least will be during the next season. He has dropped off a little bit in his performance. There is a chance we may drop Igor back. And obviously there are players. Oh my goodness, what a finish by Edson José. He has really come on toward the end of the season and made a name for himself with this club. He has not done a ton, to be fair. 3 goals in a total of 19 appearances in the league, but a pretty good showing for our midfield. He could be taking over for Celio Pereira Silva. João is still going to be in the mix, although he really hasn't impressed me all that much. Fernando José is another midfielder that is a possibility that we could bring in. He's got a couple of goals under his belt this year as well. We've kind of rotated guys through to see who is going to work. I have not yet made that decision for season 5. Carlau across for Igor. Edson José back for Igor. Igor will have a lane as he pushes it into the box. Pressing forward, sending it all the way across. It sneaks through to Vitores, and it comes back to Edson José. Vitores picking up the assist. Edson José, he's got himself a brace. He knew I was talking about him, and he knew that there was a chance that he may start the next season as our left-sided central midfielder, and he is making a massive case for himself in this match today. JP throwing it forward, gets it behind the defense. Gabriel Roza in the box. Get somebody in the middle, please. Lazera into the middle, finds Victor Reis, who adds another goal contribution. In this one, he's got a goal, he's got an assist, and we have a 3-0 lead just as we hit the 45-minute mark. And Gabriel Roza doing a fantastic job on the ball, puts it in. Victor Reis, wide open net to shoot at, but we get one more highlight, and it's going to be picked off by Jay Carlos. Can we make it 4 before the break? Jay Carlos up the side, dropping it back. Look for Edson José. Runai steps in front of that one. Ball sent clear, though, headed forward by Carlau. Over behind the line, it's Jay Carlos again, into the middle. Edson José looking for that hat trick. Januario gets his body in front of that and blocks that out. It will be sent into the stands for a throw. Gabriel Diaz still going. We have played a minute and a half of the minute added on. Edson José getting it back. Victor Reis, Edson José trying to put it over the outstretched arm of Diego Coelho. He could not, well, he did put it over the outstretched arm, but not under the crossbar. But 3-0, I am ecstatic with this performance so far. Hopefully we can keep it going in the second half. Canella in control. This is probably going to be one of those little mini highlights, and it is. So we will get back to action in just a little bit, and it's going to be a final third throw-in for Caxias do Sol. Lunguinhas gets around JP. Oh, my goodness gracious. Are you joking me? They've called that a foul. Was it a shirt tug? Did he get a shoulder in there? Now, VAR has checked it, and they said, wait, it said no penalty, and then it said penalty awarded. What is going on back there? And a chance for Caxias do Sol to pick up a goal and get one back in this match. Early in the second half, Mateus Souza from the penalty spot. Andre coming up huge again. Back-to-back penalty attempts, as far as I can recall, that have been saved by Andre. You saw it in Monday's episode. You're seeing it here today on Christmas Eve. And he may need to make a second one, because I'm pretty sure that they're going to call a handball on Gabriel Diaz. They are. The penalty has been awarded. Have they given him a yellow card? They have. So a penalty and a yellow card. Thank you very much, Gabriel Diaz. And we just need Andre to be the hero one more time. Can he do it? Who are they putting out there to take the kick? It's going to be Lunguinhas this time. Oh, I thought Andre had his hands on it. He guessed correctly, but he could not make the save the second time. And it is now 3-1. Still an absolutely brilliant performance. We just need to get a little tidier inside our own penalty area. Throw in again. Caxias do Sol in control around the edge of the box. Lunguinhas with a long shot. Andre, what is going on? What has happened to you, son? All of a sudden, 9.5 minutes into this second half, and it is a 3-2 ball game. A long shot from outside of the area. Lunguinhas chipping it in. Andre, I guess he just got a little bit of a late reaction. What can we do? America de Natal is losing 3-1 right now. We will have to check the standings when we get the opportunity. They may have just ceded their chance at promotion and could be spending another year in Série B with us, as Gabriel Diaz controls it. Still in RN, plays it forward. Victor Reis. Caio Henrique, Gabriel Roza, he's got runners in the middle. Zé Carlos taken out. No, he just lost his footing. It's going to be played out for a corner, however. And Ituano threatening. Can we restore a 2-goal lead? JP sending it in. Canella just missing wide. So we are going to expand out the scoreboard. It is 3-1 America Mineiro, which means that America de Natal, as things stand right now, have dropped into 6th place. Not only are they not going to get promoted, they are being passed by their opposition. Ball played through Gabriel Roza, but the flag is up. What a feed by Victor Reis. Unfortunately, Gabriel Roza did not effectively bend his run. VAR is going to check it, but as we've talked about before, when you see the flag go up on the sideline, When the assistant referee says no goal, then it's never going to get overturned by VAR in Football Manager. Let's go into our tactics and make a couple of changes. Canelo will come out. We're going to drop Igor back, which means swan song for Celio Pereira Silva. Why not? Paulo Alexandre probably deserves to get some playing time, but we're not going to do that right now. Nobody else. I mean, we're in pretty good shape, right? Everyone's having a nice matchup. Diaz is in trouble with a yellow card. So let's get him out of there and bring in Leo Isidoro, who is very pleased to come into this match. A pair of changes. With about 25 minutes remaining in this one, we had a stranglehold, but back-to-back penalty opportunities. One saved by Andre, one that he should have saved. And now Luquinhas is on, well, he's on a hat trick for Caxias do Sol. Meanwhile, Edson José on a hat trick for us. Nice 8.5 rating. He's looking very good. Say Carlos, untidy with the ball, knocked away. Jean Carlos carrying it up the right sideline, playing it forward. Romildo, nobody in the middle. Somehow he played it back. He didn't see that he had a man at the penalty spot. What a sliding tackle by Celio Pereira Silva. And Andre with a brilliant save as that ball seemed destined for the top corner. 5 minutes of stoppage time added on, and I don't know what's making me happier today. The fact that Ituano was going to end the season with a win, and I believe that will move us up into ninth place. It does not. Santa Cruz still a point ahead of us. But we hold on to a 3-2 victory. But America de Natal denied promotion on the last day of the season. The storylines are just getting so juicy here in Série B. We've wrapped up the year. Let's see how the team did. We'll take a little look at things statistically, where we may need to improve as we move forward into season number 5 in the save, and just kind of look ahead to year number 2 in Série B. Atletico Goianense is going up as champions. They'll be joined in Série A with Cuiabá, Ceará, and Criciúma. Goiás, Chapecoense, Remo, and Madureira, who came up this year with us, are going down into Série C. Meanwhile, a lot of familiar foes are on their way up from Série C. Itabaiana getting promoted, Floresta getting promoted, along with the champions, Sampaio Correa. I think they had been relegated last year. I'm not familiar with them. I don't think we've played them yet, but we will have the pleasure in the next season. We don't have to look too far to figure out who our standout performances are. They are the two men up front and, well, technically on the left wing. Zé Carlos picking up 16 goals, 10 assists in all league competitions, another pair of goals in the cup. He was absolutely spectacular. Tack on to that an additional 10 assists, named player of the match 5 times. I am very glad that he came into his own, because I was starting to get a little concerned that we may need to move on from our number 9. And Gabriel Rosero was absolutely spectacular in league play, both in the Sao Paulo State Championship and Série B. A career high 12 goals and another 9 assists. He added 3 and 1 in the cup. Absolutely perfect, except for that average rating. It was a little bit lower than I'd like to see for a player that is so prolific. I just guess on the matches where he wasn't scoring, it was just so bad that it really balanced out. Vitor Reis came into his own in this season. Now, he dropped off from last year's total of 10 goals and 2 assists, but he had 7 goals, 3 assists in 43 league appearances. He was very good, even though he was sharing time. Meanwhile, Igor was a monster in the air. He really settled into that role as our defensive midfielder. 6 goals. He only has 7 in his career. He made 41 appearances in the league, another 5 in the cup. Absolutely fantastic. Are we going to move him back to center back next year? That remains to be seen. Because I do have some concerns about Carlau. Now, it could be because Igor was on the pitch that he was there to take the headers that maybe Carlau would have on the set pieces, but only a pair of assists, not a single goal. Still a brilliant average rating, and he made 43 starts in the state championship and Série B. Still has a lot of life left in those 29-year-old legs, I think. The only issue I have with Canella is that he wants to move on to a bigger club. Well, he did, and then he was happy to stay. There was a ton of interest in him at one point, but hopefully that has completely dissipated. We could just sweep that under the rug. A pair of goals for Canella. It was his defensive play, though, that was where he's shown 95% nearly in pass completion in the league as well. He was solid all around at 19 years old. Oh boy, is he going to be good. What is there I can say about Celio Pereira Silva? We sold him early in the season to Fluminense when they triggered his $1.4 million release clause. I wish I had thought to raise that a little sooner. This is a guy who came through our first youth intake. We weren't able to loan him out in that first season, so we decided to keep him around. He made 11 appearances for us, and I'm so very glad I did, because he blossomed into one hell of a player. Before and after the sale, a total of 7 goals and 5 assists in a breakthrough season. I wish him the best of luck at Fluminense. I hope he continues to thrive, because he was a fantastic servant for Ituano while we had him. We're not going to touch on everybody, but my one primary area of concern, well, I've got 2. It's left back, and we'll talk about left back in a little bit, and right wing. Mateus Conceição, he got the opportunities early on, made 27 starts, a total of 32 appearances, a single goal, and 5 assists. I feel like most of his statistical output, though, was front-loaded. He really did not grab that position by the horns in the way that I wish he did. I mean, this very well could just open the door for Vini Oliveira to really step up and earn that starting spot. He did make 29 starts. A lot of those were replacing Conceição or Zé Carlos when they were injured. Another 16 sub-appearances, but 5 goals, 6 assists, a handful of Player of the Match awards. Maybe the 23-year-old is destined to be our starting right wing. I mean, we do have him signed through the end of 2032. 18-year-old Caio Henrique didn't really take advantage of the opportunities we gave him, including in that last match when it just seemed like everybody was throwing the ball into the box and picking up scoring contributions. Only 3 starts in the league, so 10 sub-appearances. Maybe we need a bigger sampling size for him. I don't know if he's going to displace Conceição, but I do think Vini Oliveira is probably going to be our starter now that I've given it just that little bit more thought. I do just want to very quickly highlight a couple of players who did come through this year's youth intake. The first is the defensive midfielder Beto. He made 7 starts, a total of 8 appearances for the U19 side, scored 4 goals, added 2 assists. He may be knocking on the door of a starting spot next year if we do decide to move Igor back to center back. It could be Beto's job to lose. And there is still the possibility that Leonel Torquete could force his way into the picture as our right wing. We did sign him this year, but because of the registration rules of Série B, we weren't able to actually factor him into the starting lineup in the senior squad. He did make 5 appearances for the U19s, picked up a goal. Not bad. Better than Enrique. I also thought it might be a good idea to take a quick rundown of some of the players that we have had out on loan this season. Milletinho, a central midfielder, 17 years old, been on loan at Rio Negro. Remember, he's got great passing, vision, first touch, tremendous amount of work rate, and it has worked out to his advantage. On loan, 34 appearances, 3 goals, 8 assists, and a 7.42 average rating at a much lower level. Let's be fair about that. But Milletinho, could he be a member of our squad next year? 17-year-old striker Hermes Tui looking pretty good at non-league Santos. Made 34 appearances for them, put home 11 goals, added 9 assists as well. Another player I really want to keep my eye on, although his defensive attributes aren't really quite where we want them to be, is a left back in Kleber Nascimento. He's 18 years old. We've taken a little bit of a look at him before. He actually made 2 appearances for us this season in the Sao Paulo State Championship. Enjoyed his loan spell at Cordino. 3 goals, 1 assist. However, 1.8 tackles per 91. Not that great. Is he good enough to unseat Gabriel Abdias or maybe even Leo Isidoro? I mean, as we do look at where he stacks up, he is pretty far down on the depth chart behind Gabriel Abdias, who is our current starter, Juan Richard, who is a former starter, who will be gone either because his contract is going to end or we are just going to do whatever we can to move him on. Then there's Leo Isidoro and Ivanzinho, who, while he has been seeing an uptick in his attributes, he has not really shown it on the pitch. Made 2 appearances for us in the league, 1 start, 1 sub appearance. Didn't really do much. And in 46 appearances for the U19 team, just a single assist. We like to get a little bit more offense from our left backs, and that 6.6 average rating doesn't really give me the warm and fuzzies. And finally, the one player we did not talk about earlier, and that is our 18-year-old starting goalkeeper, Andre. He was absolutely fantastic. Only gave up 50 goals in 42 league appearances across all competitions. Managed to keep 9 clean sheets. Unfortunately, none of them in the Sao Paulo State Championship, as I realize now. 2 in the Cup in 6 appearances, only giving up 5 goals. He was absolutely tremendous. You've seen it in the last couple of episodes. Stopping penalties left, right, and center. Well, mainly left and center. The problem is he's wanted by Manchester City, Inter Milan, and Porto. Keeping him on the club may be incredibly difficult because he is unhappy. He wants to move to a club with a stronger squad. The only way he's going to do that is if they trigger his minimum fee release clause, which we only have in place for domestic clubs, I now realize, at $5.75 million. Is Andre going to be with us next year? I don't know. Behind him, we ain't got a lot. Pedro Montavani, we gave him opportunities early on, and he was abysmal, giving up 4 in 2 appearances. Those were not 2 full appearances, by the way, with a 6.35 average rating. João Pantera, who was our backup most of the year, honestly wasn't much better. He did need to make 7 starts. Only gave up 11 goals. Did keep 2 clean sheets. Not as good as Andre. I don't have the faith in him that I have in our big 18-year-old either. So I wonder, could we possibly turn to a 17-year-old in Dora Milton, who has spent the year out on loan with Ipiranga? 34 appearances, 10 clean sheets, again, at a much lower level, but a 7.38 average rating. 34 appearances, 38 goals conceded. That's not too bad. He may get a look at in the Sao Paulo State Championship because I think we are going to bring him back and we're going to keep him at the club. He very well could be our backup goalkeeper. And if Andre leaves, possibly a contender for number 1. So we started this episode with 2 positional issues and we ended up potentially with 3. Is Andre going to be back here when we kick off the Sao Paulo State Championship for season number 5 in tomorrow's episode? Are we going to get a Christmas treat by having our starting goalkeeper stay, or is the Grinch going to show up and take him away from us? You're going to have to just come back tomorrow and find out. Is Andre going to be our starting goalkeeper? Good Lord, I hope so. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll find out together. Till then, bye-bye.